Welcome to a video flip through and looking a little look-see at the Goblin's Oracle dice, both of the 22 dice sets that are going to be around for hopefully years and years to come. Over here on the left we have the season set. This is the original set that was made in the first and second editions, and now it's in kind of its final stage. And the Keykeeper set over here is new as part of the third edition release of the season set. This is a full new 22 dice divination set. We're going to open these up and take a look at what's inside. First things first, though, I want to look at the boxes. Now, clear disclaimer, these are early prints. These are basically production samples. So what we're looking at is all subject to change. Of note on that is that the boxes are going to be about half as deep when they are done. So right now they're pretty thick, but I'm going to take almost an inch and a half off of it and almost halve the depth of it. And you'll see inside that there's plenty of room inside, so we don't need them to be quite so big. They are fairly large overall, though. If you want to take a look, they are 10 inches tall and they are 7 inches wide, and then they're 3 deep. So we're going to make that about 1.5 inches deep so that they just hold what they need to. You can see on the back of this one, it's just this picture flipped. That's a sign of me needing to update it, but I had to wait until I had the items in hand. So let's take a look. In the season set, which is the original, we have, normally this is at the bottom of the box, but I've been playing around with them. Number one, a super gorgeous design showcasing Ezra Kimbell's incredible work on the Lords of the Dice. But we do have a very big, solid book for the season set. Anyone who's owned this before will see it. This looks very similar, and that's because this is pretty much just the book as it was before. But I will show you on screen right here some of the updates that I'm doing to the guidebooks, in particular the way that I am adjusting some of these pages so they have the colors on them more, so that you always, hopefully, can find out what you're looking at just a little bit faster. New in this, we also have these bags that say what set is inside of them. Now, you might be expecting me to pull out the dice, but we're going to come back to them. We do have the two-sided cloth. This is your reading grid. This is how you do your readings with the Oracle dice. You will lay out one of the grid cloths, and then you will roll dice on them. Where the dice end up affects a lot about what the dice mean and what message you might be taking. You also will have 44 cards that come with. You have these cheat sheet cards that are color matched to the dice, so we'll see that in just a second as I pull those out. And they give you a summary of what each die face means so that you can hopefully learn them quite quickly. So let's just lay this guy out. Now, this is not the final version of the cloth. The cloth will look more like what it originally looked like, which, if I pull out one of the original ones here, it is softer, it is a thicker double-sided fabric going on here, and nothing gets cut off at the edges. So we will be replicating that, just hadn't this time around yet. This is the 22 dice of the season set. To anyone who already owns the season set in any of its previous iterations, this will look the exact same as yours, basically. You might notice that the symbols look a little bit smaller, but they're also a little finer, I find, especially on this die of all of them. This is a die that in the past has always looked a little muddied. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on with it in the past. So like here is, let's see, get on the same die face. Side by side, this one is so much brighter, and it's kind of hard to tell, so let me bring it up to you. This is eclosion. This is the moment that the butterfly leaves the cocoon. And you can see it a lot more clearly on this die. The contrast is just mostly higher. So a few things have changed in between the sets to this third edition, but I'm quite happy with the feel and look and touch of these. They just look so awesome. I'm very, very hyped about them. Also, the D12, of course, is back for your chaos readings. Uh, Anyone who's not familiar with the dice might benefit a little bit from just a little teaching moment. These are your 4 seasons dice. We have spring, we have summer, we have autumn, and we have winter. These are your 4 core dice for most of your readings. So if you're ever wondering, what am I supposed to be reading? You can just start from here. And then you're going to be adding other dice little bit by bit to determine what more information you might want. So if I'm interested in how people are interacting with each other, I might grab the influences die. That can give me an idea of how people are influencing other people. I could grab the wounds die. That might give me insight into how someone might have been hurt in the situation. The actions die to see what should be done. And then you take anywhere from as few as 4 dice to up to all 22 if you wanted. You're going to cast them down. And then you're going to take the matching cards and you're going to determine what the reading was saying. So this belongs to the autumn die. You can see it a little bit better in real life, exactly how these things color match, but I'm very, very excited about the cheat sheet cards. People have been needing something like this for a while to learn the dice a little faster. But I said you had 44 cards, so there's 22 dice, so there's 22 cheat sheets. But then we have the 22 lords of the dice. Each one of the dice, the Baron of Autumn here for the autumn die, the Crone of Summer for the summer die, each of these dice has a lord that oversees them. The Knight of Judgment goes to the actions die. And this is kind of like a little oracle deck of 22 cards that you could use. You could draw these to determine what dice you're going to roll. You could also shuffle up the cheat sheet cards and draw them at random to see what dice you're going to roll. But also in the guidebook, and this has not changed in the updated version, if you go to the dice page, so this is for the Major's die, you see the Chronicler of Choice, and there's a full page write-up on what the Chronicler of Choice is and what it means. So if you pulled out the Chronicler of Choice from your Oracle deck, you would be able to actually have like a full Oracle card meaning to it. So this is a pretty good sneak preview here at the season set. Again, for people who already own it, the new things you're looking at are these cheat sheet cards, which are new. You're also looking at slightly updated dice if you choose to get a full set. You also have this bag that denotes that it's the season set, which was not the case before. It was just the Oracle dice because there wasn't a second set yet. And of course, you're going to be getting the box that everything goes in. In the past, there was no box. It kind of just was a book with a bag of dice and a cloth. Now, everything does just come in here like this, especially once we shrink the depth on the box a little bit. Everything's going to fit pretty snug, so it won't be moving much. Now, let's take a look at the Keykeeper set. This is totally new. It has not existed before. We are looking at a totally new 2-sided cloth, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be pretty excited about, because it means that if you get this Keykeeper set and you already owned the other dice set, you can now use 2 completely new grids. Now, these grids cover some topics in a different way. So this deals with the 7 stages of the sun and moon. We've got the rising sun, the burning day, twilight sky, rising moon, deepest night, falling moon, and the empty sky. And we also have underneath things that lead in that theme, right? We have the wake up, the labors, the other, the known, the bones, the dreams, the unsaid. And of course, we have the center, the star. And on the other side, we do have another completely new grid. This one I call the Forces and Energies grid. Maybe we can lay it all out so you can see it a little better. This one's totally unique from the other grids that I have done for the dice. We do have a center still, and then everything else is so different than how the others tend to be laid out. Usually the others are laid out in like quarters, and they're covering a topic in each area. This one is very dynamic everywhere you're at. So like this line here is the self, and it deals with your power and where you falter. You also have, in between the power and the core here, the center, we have safety. We also have lessons. So what makes you falter may also be a lesson that leads towards the center here. We also, at the bottom, have failure. So all of this can talk about failures. We also have over here overcome, which can talk about ways in which things are being overcome. We also have acceptance and growth as opposites. So there are things that you have to accept that you can't change, and there are things that you will grow to overcome. And of course, these are not even necessarily polar opposites. A lot of growing can be accepting things. So this is a very complicated grid, and I'm very excited to have people working with it. But of course, we already talked a little bit about what all these cards are, so maybe these aren't as exciting. We do have, of course, cheat sheet cards. This one looks like it printed a little hard to read, so we'll have to make sure that gets taken care of. And then after the cheat sheets, we also have, of course, the Lords. Boop. Right here in my hand, there's only 11 of them, but there are 22 for the set, and those will all be present in the final print. And, of course, we do have a guidebook that's unique to this set. It has its own unique cover and back cover, so pretty excited about that. But you're here for the dice, so let's take a look. Now, again, just like with all the other items, everything here is subject to change. Of note, there's an extra chaos die from the season set in here. That doesn't belong. So we have the 5 housewives dice. These are slightly green, see-through material. They're really pretty. I love that all the colors pop on them so well. It's a little hard to tell on the camera with the pink one, but it's very clear in person. These are glow-in-the-dark, and they show really, really impressively. Maybe I will toss up a picture here for you to see that. We also have... There they are. These are the Black Lantern dice. These are from the Misery Tarot, and they will be slightly more transparent than they are right now. They're also glow-in-the-dark, but they will have a black base. So these 10 will all glow in the dark, which is just a fun thing to do. Then we have the 4 Game Taker dice, and this is something you're going to find out when you're flipping through the guidebook or looking at the Lords. As opposed to the other set where every single die had a unique Lord, the Housewives have the Housewife as their Lord, and there are 5 variations, one for each die. So this is the Housewife that oversees the Toxicity die. And just like that one, the Black Lantern here oversees the Black Lantern dice. And there are 5 versions of this card character with different illustrations. This one is the Sword Keeper, who oversees the weapons die. And as I was just saying, these are the Game Taker's dice. The Game Taker is a very fun creation between me and Ezra Kimbell, this being who has kind of collected all these game pieces together as a body and identity. So we have a standard D6, which is something I kind of talked about in the previous edition, but didn't include. And then we have 3 dice that are from various games, or we're pretending anyways. We have a movement die that is like a... it's got little pawns hopping on each other. It's a little bit of a Sorry, Monopoly, go across the board game kind of thing. We have a resources die, which is a little bit like a Catan experience. You've got sheep and bricks and wood. This is very much about the resources available. And this is the fantasy die, which has swords and shields and bows and arrows, mystic fires and demon faces. So the Game Taker will oversee this one, and there'll be 4 versions of the Game Taker to go. That leaves us with 7 dice and this D12. The D12 belongs to the Astrologer. The final version of the D12, this one's not quite right, will be black and purple swirled. This is going to be very pretty to look at, like a little night sky. And then we have the Key Keepers, and the Key Keepers are a 7-faced entity that you can see right there on the guidebook and on the cover of the box. The Key Keeper is a singular entity whose face rotates and different masks show at different points in the day. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. And these are the 7 dice that belong to that entity. These are kind of like your seasons dice in the other set. These 7 dice will be the core of a lot of readings, or because it's 7 now instead of just 4 base dice, you could do most of your readings with the set just using these 7 dice if you wanted. Now, of course, we have all these other dice to use, so don't limit yourself. The one thing that has particularly changed on these dice, where these ones don't quite look right, is that all 7 of these have a metallic sheen or swirl in them. You can really see it on this one. It's got like this gold inner swirl, and then it's a little harder to see, but all 3 of these have this metallic swirl in them. You can see that they have like a very different finish and interior color. Unfortunately, a few of these did not come out the way that we were expecting them to, but those are being fixed. And that's what the Key Keepers is like. It's a whole new set of 22 dice. 10 of them glow in the dark, which is a pretty exciting extra thing to have in life. I don't know who's doing their readings in the dark, but if you are that person, have I got a deal for you? I'm just so excited for these. Obviously, I will do a proper long-form video when it comes time, when I have the actual final versions of the sets in hand. But this is such an exciting thing to finally have the Key Keepers dice and dice grid in hand, so I can do readings with them directly. But that is the Goblin's Oracle dice. They're still available for pre-order on Kickstarter. I also want to note that the new manufacturer is doing the wooden boxes again, the same as we had before. So this is an old set of stuff. Here's the new box. I've already checked it. It fits everything in it wonderfully. We're talking about adding the velvet linings, just like we have on this one. But as you can see, these are different symbols, because if I swap them, these are the sets for this, the symbols for the season set, and these are the symbols for the Key Keeper set, which is super, super exciting. And as was available in the past, there will be a Goblin face one, which is the logo for the business, Publishing Goblin. And if you are feeling like you don't want things etched on top, you can have a blank one. All of this is available for you still to order on BackerKit, as well as things like the Oracle Die Face decks, which features all of the faces of the dice on cards as an Oracle deck. So if you prefer to use cards, or you do Tarot or Oracle, feel like the dice might be a bit of a stretch, you can do a simplified deck that just has all the symbols on them. And perhaps the most exciting new thing, aside from a whole new set, right? We do have, as I lift and move the giant thing, the chest. Now, this was the very first sample of the chest I received. The top compartment's pretty great. It fits almost everything you would need. These are removable, so you can slot the wooden boxes right in their place if you have the wooden boxes. And then that would allow you to hold your dice set either in the foam that's already in here or in your wooden boxes, and those will still be visible, of course, through there, which is lovely. And of course, it's not a chest if it doesn't have drawers, right? So there are drawers in here. One holds tarot and oracle decks, one would hold your guidebooks, one would hold your reading cloths, your reading mats, and one would hold your reading journals. So this one in particular would be great if you bought the Die Face Oracle deck. You could fit them into here. And actually, one of the bottom ones here, which is going to hold your guidebooks, will actually have a separate compartment here for your cheat sheet cards to go in. So everything will be held in one spot. And for anyone who is already up on the Oracle dice, there is a final 6 dice set that also just funded on Kickstarter. And so the chest is being expanded this way just a little bit, so that there is a row at the very front that can hold your 6 final dice. So that is another piece that you could be grabbing. On the backer kit pre-order page right now. Link will be in description. So take a look, see if this is for you. The Oracle dice are a totally unique form of divination. It's a little bit charm casting, a little bit bones, a little bit runes, and it is just as deep, if not deeper, than a tarot reading would be. They're my favorite tool. I'm biased because I made them, but definitely give them a look and see if they're for you. All right, ta-ta.